Here we go. We're going to show you this 21-day superfood, green superfood feast of plenty. Remember, you have more than what you think you need. We're going to use the base here, and I'll show you the base. The base is just greens. You can get them at your farmer's market. If you can't afford organic, then you wash everything really good with a non-toxic soap. I like to use like a Dr. Bronner's or one of the soaps that have no perfumes, chemicals, or anything in it. And you wash it really good. Even if it's organic, wash it anyways. You can also use a 5 or 8% food-grade hydrogen peroxide and soak everything in water for about 10 minutes first, because that gets a lot of the weirdness off the plants. The best way to get any chemicals off the plants, though, is with soap, just so you know, because a lot of people say, I can't afford all this stuff. Well, if you can't afford the superfoods, you want to at least be able to put in the greens, the chlorella, the spirulina. If you can't afford the chlorella growth factor, because that's a little pricey, that's the best part for regeneration, though, as far as internal regeneration. If you look up the studies, that's really what helped people get massive regeneration. Now, we'll go through just some simple greens here. We've got celery. We've got purple onion. We don't use green onion, white onion, or garlic at all. These have sulfone hydroxyl in them, and that causes you to get really tired after you eat this meal, and it actually gives you not only offensive breath, but it causes your brain to be not smart after a while. It takes it so the EKG, ECG, these waves that are patterns in your body, they get desynchronized with the garlic. But that's another video. We have radishes, beautiful cilantro, and I would use this whole amount in a drink. So when you're using, remember, if you don't have the superfoods, a spoon of spirulina is like 10 pounds of kale or spinach. So I use these as a base because you do want the live energy and the live minerals. This salad here would be a typical salad that you would, put on with salad dressing. But I don't want you eating these big pieces because you won't be able to tell. Remember, if you're going to pick through your stools, you're not going to be able to tell what's a parasite and what's not. Now, this salad was already made up because we were going to actually have the salad before, but we're going to use this salad too because I want to show you, even if you have salad greens that you buy, you blend it all up. Now, here's some of the goodness of the greens. These are mustard greens and also sunflower greens, sprouted, very smart. Tomatoes, we've got parsley. There's all different types of parsley, remember. Make sure if you can, remember they use a lot of pesticides on cilantro, so make sure, at least if you get the cilantro, make sure it's organic. Lots of kale. The kale has, remember, the greener the lettuce is, iceberg lettuce has zero nutrition in it, but it does crunch well, but it has zero nutrition. Cabbage is really good for you too, but normal people, they really get a lot of gas from that, so you have to watch that. But purple cabbage is way better than the white cabbage. As far as the greens go, that's all of our greens. And now I'm going to go through some of the different things now superfood-wise. I like to use maca in the body because maca feeds the glands. We've got our greens again, spirulina. We've got the chlorella. Spirulina is for nutrition. The chlorella is for detoxification. And the green gem is for super regeneration. I use Soleil salt. Now the oils. You want to use oils in this. Oh, we've got our wasp back again. Hey, brother, are you hungry? We want to really make sure you understand. Hemp seeds are a very, very good oil. I can use also different types of oils like olive oil. We're going to use this time hemp seed oil. Also, what makes it taste good is toasted sesame seed oil. But again, try to get the organic. It's only $1 or so more, but it's worth it because a lot of chemicals are in these other, sometimes unseen foods or liquids. We're also going to go ahead and use chia seeds because the chia seeds helps with your intestinal bulk. It makes it go, woo, bye-bye. And that's what you're trying to do here, remember, is flush out all the bad guys and make it so your intestinal tract is not perverted with wheat, corn, or soy, which really, really, really hurts my stomach if I eat them. And even if it's organic soy, organic wheat, or organic corn, once you get clean, you'll find out the corn has been really changed. It's been perverted. It's not like you think it is. And it really is hard on your gut wall because it sits there and it irritates it. It assaults it. You'll see. We're going to use different types of spices also. One of the other oils I forgot to tell you is, hey guys, is coconut oils. Coconut oil is really good. It gives it a separate, different flavor too. And plus this oil, super nutrient. I'm going to put the oil in now anyway, so since we're talking, so I don't have to do this twice. I put in quite a bit of oil, maybe 3 big tablespoons of oil. The oils are very important. You don't do this drink without the oils. Remember, it takes 10 pounds of good oil to regenerate your liver within 2 months. Your skin regenerates every 30 days. Everything needs oils in your body. Fat-free is not smart. We're going to use, right off the bat here, I'm going to use some toasted sesame seed oil. I like to put in a couple tablespoons, and this is mostly for flavor. We're going to use the hemp seed, and this is Jeff's Best Hemp. Super good to use. And if you could afford it, the best oil is the hemp seed oil. It does have a flavor to it that's different than most people sometimes are used to. But once you mix all the stuff we're putting in here, it makes it just super creamy. Now, we're not going to use olive oil on this one because we put enough oils, but you can see we got a lot of oil floating in there. People say, oh, that's a lot of oil. Well, it is. So what do? The rule of thumb, anytime you put all these oils in, is you put in at least as much lemon. So I'm going to squeeze the lemons in here. And these are limes, and you can use lemons or limes. These are off our tree. And want to get as much of even the rinds and everything you can. And I could usually do these, at least, I usually try to use twice as much lemon than I do oil. Because what it does is it emulsifies everything. It does change the flavor a little bit, but it makes it more like a whole beautiful salad dressing. And so you can see some of the ones that aren't as, I'm talking juicy ones. So if they're not that juicy, make sure you put in more. Because some of the ones that you get, lemons or limes, you want to make sure that you put in just as much. So I just usually put in about 2 whole lemons. And 1 more. And we're done with this. Okay. And this is going to help emulsify and make the oil so it's super usable for your intestinal tract. We don't use white onions, we're using purple onions, as you can see. Beautiful, purple, not white, not green onions, and no garlic whatsoever. So we put in a couple of big pieces of onion in there. The onion gives it super flavor, and it makes you very satisfied, make it feel like almost like you're having like onion soup a little bit, and it's good for you. The purple onion goes through, and it's actually part of a detoxification. Now you can see this is purple. I don't know if you can see the purple there, but this is purple. This is nori. It's raw nori. I try to stay away from the toasted ones because a lot of them are toasted in weird oils and stuff. But this is our beautiful noni that's raw. And I put in like about 4 sheets of this stuff in there. Let's see here. Now, the magic also is vinegar. Try to only use, if you can, only raw apple cider vinegar. The other vinegars, I use about 1/4 to 1/2 cup. This is besides the lemon. And this is the raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. This is malic acid. Malic acid helps detoxify your system. All the other vinegars, they're cooked and they're pasteurized, and they're actually acetic acid. And acetic acid is a totally different vinegar. Let's see here. I like to put in some spices. So this is cumin, and I put in about 1/2 teaspoon. And let's see here. Chia seeds. The chia seeds, you remember, help everything give you super bulk. And it's going to make this really thick too, because this is going to turn into almost like a soup. You can keep this blender, take it out, it'll last 3 or 4 days. And it's so powerful that you don't need to really, have as much as you think, but I want you to have twice as much than you feel like having, because you're really trying to push this in you, and I don't want you to feel any bit of hunger. This is ginger root powder. Really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to put in like about a teaspoon of that. This helps also with the flavor, but it also helps with the super detoxification that it has. And this is turmeric. You have to be very careful on using this turmeric. This is our cold processed turmeric. I would use like a quarter teaspoon or so with this. This is very powerful, and if you get it on anything in your kitchen, it'll be 69 out of your kitchen, because no one will let you use it, because it does stain things, but it also super cleans your glands too. It has an affinity to really help clean the glands out. That's why they say that coumarins are very special when it comes to curry and all those different types of spices. Now I'm going to put in the lettuce, the sprouts. I'm going to put in these guys right here, and I'm going to put in some of our salad that we made. And our salad has a variety of everything: tomatoes, kale. I mean, it's just basically like a whole smorgasbord of different types of lettuces. And I'm going to put in a big piece of cilantro here. And the cilantro is good to be able to cut it up a couple different times, because when you blend this up, sometimes it's not as easy as you think. And the Vitamix is the best blender we've used. A lot of the other blenders, it's a little hard to be able to blend this. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of Soleil salt. And if you don't know what the Soleil salt is, the Soleil salt is a 26% salt. Means that the water turns to salt and the salt turns to water, and you can see the big pieces of salt crystals in there won't turn any more into water, or the water won't turn any more into salt. It's at its maximum concentration. Now we're getting into actually, I'm going to blend this first, because we get too much in there. You want to try to blend it twice sometimes if you're making a large amount. Our avocados, hard, but I would usually put in at least a half or a whole avocado. The oilier the avocado tastes, the better they are. So the ones that taste sort of watery, try to stay away from those. The Hass avocados, and there's other varieties that you'll taste, like the Fuertes. They're really oily and taste super good. Let me make sure that we didn't miss anything here. And I'm going to put all these tomatoes in too on top. And I'm going to put actually a few pieces of kale, since we got a little more space here. And try to go ahead and break it a few times when you put it in. And you just give it a push down there, put the top on. Make sure your top's on really good. Make sure it's on low too when you start, because if it's on high, it goes all over the place, and I've had that happen several times. So I'm going to turn this guy on here. You can see it blends really easy. We put 2 cups of water first in there, and someone used my plunger the other day, and when that happens, you need another one. This one's been washed real good, but junk gets inside there when you wash it, and it never really gets out, and you get weird mold in there. And the last thing you want to do is use your plunger without the top on, and that was the mistake that they made. Ooh. So let's turn this on medium speed. And all you're going to do is just push it down. So simple. Look at how easy it grinds. Whoa, daddy-o. Now, we didn't put any of the greens in yet. Tastes good already. Now, I'm going to make it turn into the super green. Remember, this is the superfood feast of green plenty. So I'm going to put in plenty of green. I put in about a tablespoon of the chlorella and a tablespoon of spirulina. And here's about 2 tablespoons of another green. Remember, spirulina and chlorella, just put them in at 50-50. And then we're going to put in some of the chlorella growth factor. And this stuff has a smell to it that's pretty unique. And you won't really taste it in here, but this is really good to put in your water also. And I put in about a teaspoon, level teaspoon in there. It actually tastes pretty good. It's not bad. But it does have a unique taste. Now I'm going to put in, this is the magical stuff that super blends everything together. I'm going to put in like a whole squirt of fulvic acid in here, because that helps blend all this stuff up here really good. The fulvic actually it's fulvic plant minerals is what it is. And these are old minerals that are from well, thousands and thousands of years old that are necessary and essential for health. They are pleasantly in all good soils, but most soils don't have the fulvic acid in there. We're going to put also living silica in, and I put in a couple of tablespoons. Remember, if you don't have these things, well, you don't have them. But if you can get a hold of these are essential to replenish your system. Your body needs these oils to refix, to regenerate the intestinal wall. It needs silicon to regenerate the skin tissue. It will not do it without it. And all of our foods have zero probably amounts of silicon. I'm going to also put in our ionic minerals, and I put in a whole big squirt of that in there. And these are all ionic minerals that make us so this thing has so many minerals, that's why you don't need to eat too many things with it. I'm going to put in a few pieces of celery, and we'll just crack these open like this. And they go right inside. And let's see. I think we're pretty good there. Oops, we forgot the parsley. Oh, and our wasp is back. Okay, these guys go in here. And a little more kale. And you just basically stuff as much as you can in here. Make yourself a blender full. This turns into a soup, or it turns into a super good drink, depending on how you like to eat it. I'll show you how I like to make it in a soup. I have a few other garnishes you put on top. Okay, here we go. Like I said, the Vitamix just chews this up really easy. And now we've got green, super green. I wanted to show you before we put in the super greens, you don't get that much green out of it. And you can see when we put the greens in, you got super greens now. We'll turn this thing on high for 30 seconds or so. Now, check out the greenery. That's greenery. I just had a little taste. I got green all over me. Now, what we do, oh, we didn't buzz it all here, so if it didn't buzz, put it back in. You want to make sure that everything, remember, is super blended. So you may have to do this once or twice just to make sure that everything's blended down. So let's give it another whirl. Just to taste it. Woo! Now that's in your own kitchen, you eat like you like. Wow. And you can see that is super green. Now let me show you how to finish this off. I like to make this like a soup. And if you wait about 20 or 30 minutes, the chia seeds that we put in will actually make it thicker and thicker. And you can actually put in also, we have some noni powder. Put in a tablespoon of that or two, and it turns it into a really thick porridge. So here's my bowl, and I'd have about that much, or twice as much, just depending on how hungry I am. And now, let's put on some cacao butter. This is going to make it look like cheese. Watch this. What a trick. And it gives it the illusion of your mind of having this sort of like mozzarella cheese or Parmesan cheese right on top. There we go. And the oils from the cacao is really, really special. And let's see, what other things we got? I'm going to put a nice little blob of, this is hummus that we made. here, made from chickpeas. You put that right in the middle. Remember, it's already ground, but trying to get different flavors now. You know, you're grinding everything together, and when you grind it all together, you find out that it all has a sort of like mixed mesh of different tastes. But now you could make it so you have different flavors and crunchies. I like to eat about 100 to 150 of these in my meal. This gives it the crunch, and it gives you a sensation when you have the crunch. So you put them all the way around like this. And these by themselves, they don't taste the greatest. They sort of taste like, you know, algae, like a lake a little bit. But when you mix them with this, it makes them taste like cheese. And then these will grind up. Remember, anything you put in here that is bigger, like these almonds, you're going to chew these up, all of them, till, just like the blender did. You chew them till they turn into a piece of sand. Okay, so you put a couple more of these guys around there like that. And let's see, what else do we got here? I like to also use kelp granules. Really smart, because we want the sea vegetables in there. So I like to put kelp granules or dulse flakes. I put a little of that on there. And also, caraway seeds are really good too. So I put a little bit of those, give it the crunchy flavor. And this is, last but not least here, pumpkin seeds. Remember, this is a super meal. You're not going to feel like you were lacking with this. Put a few in the middle there. And you're going to crunch up. Remember, everything we put on there, there's 0 sugar. No sugar. Sugar feeds your yeast, mold, and fungus. And you'll find out, after a week or two, the sugar, yeast, mold, and fungus microbes won't call as much. But if you do feel it in your stomach like you're hungry, because they're going to say, hey, what about me? Because yeast, mold, and fungus are insatiable feeders. They're hungry all the time. Drink lots of water and or try to put in spice. Here's one of the things also that really makes sense. Wherever my spice is. Oh, I forgot to put our chipotle pepper in. I like to put a chipotle pepper in too. It mixes it up, and it gives it a pretty good spice, but it gives it sort of like that smoky flavor too. Let's see, where's my cayenne pepper? I don't see it, but this is last but not least. I like to get my iodine. Have you had your shot of iodine today? A lot of this radiation that's going around the world and everything, you need to be able to have enough iodine in your thyroid. So if you do take up the iodine 131, your thyroid's full of nutrition, so it just passes it through. But if it's not, it'll pull it right in, and it'll give you a thyroid burn, which a ton of people in the United States have these problems right now. They're breathing a lot of radioactive iodine 131. And if your nutrition is full to the glands, remember the glands run the body. So most of the stuff that we put on here, all these little seasonings and stuff, they're feeding the glands or they're detoxifying the glands. Woohoo! Look at that thing. Now, one last thing before we cut off to the next video. If you like crunchies, because a lot of people, remember, this is a super high level soup. You can drink this soup. You can put the same thing on, all these fixings on the top of a glass. I like to use these. These are no wheat, corn, and soy, and they give me the crunchy ability of chips. And so it gives you that sensation of having everything you wanted at that meal. If you follow this recipe exactly like I made it, every time it comes out perfect. And you can go up or down, here or there. It'll always taste really, really good, as long as you put in the oils and the vinegar and the lemon, because that makes it so it doesn't taste too like blasé. And put in the right amount of salt in, and wow, is that good. There you go. Have fun, and bon appetit, and we'll catch you on another video.